Chris, you think everything is fake. You need to be really more open-minded and get out and stop making these trolling videos. Stop laughing at your own jokes. Laughy face, laughy face, laughy face, laughy face, laughy face. And hi friends, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. This is a comment from Jason just 7 hours ago, and he was commenting on a Tesla video, and I wanted to just address this topic because I think it's a fun one, and we'll get into the daily news. But basically, you know, saying that I think everything is fake. And I will say, yes, yes, I do. That's why I check multiple sources all the time. That's why I ask you in the community to help me. It's like, hey, is this real? What do you think about these said things? And this is sort of why it's good to build a community, because honestly, guys, there's so much AI content out there. There's so much BS out there. There's so much nonsense out there. This is sort of why you need reliable sources to depend on. And so I try my best every single day to decipher what's real, what's fake. Like, for example, this comment, is this a trolling comment or is this a real comment? Who knows, right? I don't know. And I have a sense of humor about the world. And if you guys understand like how much stuff I see in a day, because I do read everything and I try to filter it out and present you with the stuff that I think is the most important to your day. I'll just give examples of some of the stuff that I read. And this is something that they have to deal with on YouTube. True story. YouTube just put out 2 hours ago, like they're changing their policy on, I guess they're calling adult content. So like, how do you handle breastfeeding channels? I guess that's a thing. Or how do you handle channels that have non-sexually graphic dancing, but they have lots of deliberate and reoccurring breast, butt, and genitalia shots? So it's like, this is a real video on YouTube like 2 hours ago. And this is sort of why I always like laugh at this stuff, because there's so much craziness out there in the world. It's real. So that's why, you know, when someone's like, hey, Chris, you think everything is fake? I mean, if you see the amount of crazy stuff out there, it's really hard to know these days, because like some stuff is like, is this real? Did YouTube really make this video about breastfeeding stuff? Yes, yes, they did. So anyway, let's get into the markets. And, you know, again, the world is nuts. Markets today were really mixed. I know we haven't looked at these charts for a long time. We'll start to do this a little bit more, but essentially, this is sort of what I feel is going on, is that it's just really unhealthy. You shouldn't see these kind of moves every single day in the market. And it's been like this for quite a while now. You can see sectors are mixed. Energy was down quite a lot. Utility is up, and then communications up a bit. And moreover, what really threw me off, and you guys didn't tell me because I don't know. I'm living in Korea. I'm American, but I live in Korea, but I didn't realize you guys changed the clocks on November 5th. So I was like looking at the time of stuff, and I'm like, wait, why are you guys like an hour? What? And I don't know. I shake my head because I had heard that some states were going to completely ban this clock changing stuff. So if you're all about clock changing, let me know. But I just personally think that you should just get rid of it. It's too confusing, and I've never liked it as a kid. I don't like it today, and I don't even like it even if I'm not living there, because I have to deal with this clock changing stuff. But anyway, you guys did that. Also going on in the markets is there's been a lot of sort of like anticipation and build up for a Bitcoin ETF. Evidently the SEC is like defer their decision. I thought they were going to decide by like tomorrow or something, but I guess now we're waiting till next year. Who knows? I mean, really, who knows? I honestly think that they're under a lot of pressure from, say, the government side is like, hey, you know, we want to do a digital dollar. So like, kind of, can you like get rid of that Bitcoin stuff? And then I think there's actually a lot of big money people in crypto that are like, hey, we got a lot of money in this stuff, you know, BlackRock, etc. And I mean, this is just the reality. I heard this back when I was a college student, and it was kind of strange to me, but you know, as I got older, I believe it more and more. The government's controlled by Wall Street and the military. So you can disagree if you like, but when I see this kind of stuff, I just feel like the way the SEC is handling Bitcoin, I just feel like is just this big money Wall Street like saying, hey, you know, we really want to get this through, and then this is, you know, I don't know if it's the military like, hey, let's not do it through, but it's weird that they keep delaying the decision on this. So you guys can be the judge of that. Talking more about unhealthy markets, though, I mean, you just see these like crazy moves. So I guess Target stock was up like 18%. So if you're in this thing, you're like jumping up and down going, oh my God, you know, I'm a genius. I got Target at the right time, bought the bottom. It's soaring. And I guess customers are really happy that they're locking up products. I laugh because this has been probably the most, in my mind, unhealthy thing about the US these days is just the amount of shoplifting, theft, crime, just overall feeling of lawlessness. I myself don't like it. I'd be curious if you guys agree or disagree, but it's always disconcerting to go into the store and like there's stuff on the shelf, but it's like locked, like this kind of stuff, and you can't grab it. I like to be able to grab stuff and just put it in my cart. That's just me, but also to be fair though, I mean, I do buy stuff online, so I mean, just to be fair, like I do think stores are going to struggle if you have shoplifting and people do buy stuff online like myself. But, in some cases, you do want to go to a store physically. It's just nice to just go get it the same day, and especially food, that kind of stuff. But, I just, anyway, unhealthy. Target stock is up 18%. They beat estimates. The other thing is unhealthy. And you're just like, why is it unhealthy at 18? Because it's the size of the moves, right? Like, for example, Cisco is down 12%. It's like, what? And then Alibaba, I think it was down like 8-9% or whatever it is. And the market's not yet closed, but we'll see. They're going to do some sort of cloud thing spinoff, and then they said they're not going to do it or whatever. And it's like this kind of stuff is again, unhealthy. We're just seeing these crazy moves in the market. Moreover, which I thought was a really interesting one, and again, I try to show you guys all the stuff that I find the most appealing. Walmart's expecting deflation, so basically prices going down. And one example that they gave, I thought was interesting, was Thanksgiving turkey dinners. So according to them, it says here, or actually it's according to the American Farm Bureau Federation, even Thanksgiving will be lighter on Americans' wallets compared last year. So lower turkey prices mean that the average cost of a dinner for 10 people will be $61, down 4.5% from last year's 64. And it's actually really funny because like, when I read this, I'm just like, how can you feed 10 people for $61? Yeah. that was the first thing that came to my mind. But maybe they're just talking just the price of the turkey alone. I'm not sure. I was just like, it's got to be just the turkey, because there's no way in the USA that you can feed 10 people for $61. It's just, you guys know how much stuff costs there. I mean, I can explain it to you. It's just really expensive. Moreover, though, I think that companies and people will be tightening their budgets, less their wallets, because essentially the money isn't there. I've been saying this for a long time. This was a really interesting one. It was another evidence of that. You can read the headlines here. IBM pulls advert from X, and this is a real headline, after a report finding they ran next to Nazi content. So basically, IBM's like, I don't want my ads next to Nazi content. And if you think, okay, are we using the word Nazi like in a kind of looser term? No, actually, it's in a literal term. This is the quote right here. So I guess so. Media Matters. So they're nonprofit. Yes, you could say they're left leaning, but I don't think they're making this stuff up here. Because IBM is pulling the money. And again, this is something like when someone says, "Hey, Chris, you think everything is fake?" And yes, I do. But that's why I read through stuff very, very carefully. And like, you can't really fake like a story that IBM's pulling ads. Like, it's not, and plus you have to go to trusted sources, right? So I like the Financial Times. That's what I look at, and I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. So this is sort of like why we navigate this world together and things of this nature. So and yeah, sure, and you can say they're left leaning, whatever, but it's like, can you fake something like this? So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys get my point in this stuff. But anyway, so they're saying here, IBM, Apple, Oracle, Comcast, and Bravo, I guess they're running content that, quote, touts Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party. And this is a quote from IBM. IBM has zero tolerance for hate speech and discrimination, and we have immediately, that's now, suspended all advertising on X while we investigate this entirely unacceptable situation. Now, this stuff doesn't shock me. Wikipedia's founder even came out and said, like, hey, after Elon Musk took over Twitter, it's been a huge problem that Twitter is being overrun by trolls and lunatics. Who knows? Maybe the trolls and lunatics are putting, too much breastfeeding content and non-sexually graphic dancing that is deliberately showing recurring breasts, butts, and genitalia. Who knows? But but this all kind of represents sort of the world that we live in, and sort of why I really found this comment fascinating of like, hey, Chris, you think everything is fake? And the opposite would be, so you think everything is real and you just accept everything at face value. That's the opposite, right? So I would tend to lead more onto the, I guess, skeptical slash, I want to look stuff up. Like, I want to search. And for some people, that's irritating. They just want to accept everything at face value. Or if it matches your beliefs, you just want to believe it. But I'm just not that kind of person. I look stuff up. For example, this was a really interesting one. evidently, there's a lawsuit against United Health. So that's the big insurer. Did they insure like I think 53 million Americans? Like really a lot. And the lawsuit is saying basically you use an AI algorithm that doesn't give elderly people care. So I actually found the lawsuit, and again, I look everything up. I read through it, and it was interesting because here's the gist. There's this like healthcare algorithm thing, and the lawsuit claims that the reason why they chose said AI algorithm is because they purposely deny service. So I'm not like, oh my god, I'm so surprised, But the thing is, I know I make joke, but the thing is, I think that we may get a lot of these sort of okay. I think this sort of AI stuff is just going to be in the headlines for a long time, and because the idea of a health insurance company using whatever algorithm or method to deny in coverage isn't necessarily new. So whether or not the lawsuit has any more chance of succeeding than ones in the past is anyone's guess, right? But the idea here is that you're saying that they're going to try to prove that you knowingly picked a tool that will deny people care. So we'll see if this has any legs. I do think it's interesting, but just that they try it with the AI angle. Good luck. And regarding the turmoil in the markets and things like this, Warren Buffett, in fact, he just keeps selling stocks. So I guess he was like dumping GM, HP, Chevron, and his cash pile just keeps going up. So you can see this here. So he's just been sitting on a bunch of cash. He does make purchases every now and then. He's not always right. And, it's interesting because, like, you go to him for stock advice, but, like, what if you're not buying anything? What are you doing, my man? But, we trust Warren. And the problem is, and we've talked about several times on the channel, when things seem so grossly overvalued, but yet things keep going up, like, what do? Do you participate? Do you not participate? And this is sort of why I just say you got to have a diverse portfolio. So just don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So if you want to play the market, have some money in the market, but I just do it all, right? And what I mean by do it all is you just do different things. And so, for example, pay off your debts. Right now, interest rates are really high. So if you're carrying a bunch of credit cards or your auto loans, etc., are variable, that's probably going to be better for you to pay that off first at this moment in time. Also, too, like right now, savings accounts, CDs, bonds aren't looking so bad. So those are good to be in as well. And, look at what Warren Buffett's doing. He's not necessarily playing the market, but it's also very true, guys. If you got in Bitcoin back in like, was it January, just a year ago or like November-ish, you did really quite well. So it's not like that you can't do it. It's just that it's tough, and I'm just showing you what Warren Buffett's doing. He's just like, you know what? I'm just going to be selling stocks and just letting you guys all figure it out. and one of the things is consistency is the big thing with a lot of this stuff. And so because people often ask like, what do you do, etc. It's just be consistent. And what do I mean by that? You consistently, watch your spending, consistently save money, consistently, work to improve your job skills, consistently, work to make sure relationships around you are good. Just be consistent. And one of the things that I, try to do and try to give you guys I guess example / role model all the time is just show up with a smile every day and look for the positives in life, and because like these days things look kind of scary out there. I'll just be honest with you. I read the headlines every day and you're like, how is he smiling all the time? I mean, I try not to let this stuff get me down, and I just, how can I say, if you don't overextend yourself, that's the really best way to say it. If you don't overextend yourself, you're going to be fine. If you, like in Buffett's case is a good example. Like, okay, he could be, have all his money 100% in the market and he would probably be stressing out every single day. But like, I mean, what's his name? Charlie Munger, his partner, he's going to reach 100 next year. I mean, and these guys are in great shape. I mean, they really are for their age. They're in great shape. They're mentally, still capable. They're in fantastic shape. And so, just again, what Buffett's doing, he's just like, I'm just sitting on cash. Talking about that though, yeah, toy sales are going to be down, I guess. So they were talking to Mattel and Hasbro. They don't expect a very good holiday season. And I'll be curious if what you guys are saying in your families. Like, did you tell the kids, Christmas is gonna be a bit light, etc. And also too, because I don't know, I don't live in USA right now, but if you have kids, if you're shopping around for like Legos or looking at Spider-Man, Transformers, because they actually specifically mentioned Spider-Man and Transformer toys will be sales will be down. So I guess those are hot sellers. I'd just be curious if you guys are like not buying toys because you think they're too expensive, or you're not buying toys because the buying power's in there, or well, that's kind of the same thing I said, but hey, you guys know what I'm saying. It's like I'm just curious if you are in agreement with this, that maybe Christmas will be a little bit lighter this year. Now, one thing I'd recommend, and I've mentioned this several times on the channel, but I gotta mention it again. If you are looking for a Christmas gift, I'd recommend my book, Positive Angle. It is about being positive through tough times and overcoming failure. And honestly, it's really good. I wrote it. What else can I say? So pick it up. It's over on Amazon. It's called Positive Angle. And also, too, you can pick up on Amazon, which is really fascinating, is a Hyundai car. True story. You can now buy these things on Amazon. What the heck? So, okay, when I first read this, my first thought was, shouldn't this be illegal somehow? I mean, it just feels like, okay, not that I'm against buying stuff online. So like I said, I buy stuff online, and I'm part of, I guess I'm part of the guilty party that are pushing out physical stores, because I just prefer stuff online. But it seems interesting that they could, or I guess legally can sell cars. I don't know if anyone's going to challenge this. It was announced, and then the other online dealers like your CarMax, and was it CarMax, Carvana, AutoNation, like I guess these stocks all took a hit because Amazon is obviously going to be more trustworthy than them. And let me read the quote of this thing, because it's interesting if you understand how this thing works. So it says, beginning in 2024, Amazons will let shoppers purchase a new car online, then pick it up or have it delivered by their local dealership. So I guess the dealerships are still going to exist. Consumers will be able to search for available vehicles in their area, make a selection, then check out on Amazon using their preferred payment and financing method. The company said the new feature will, quote, create another way for dealers to build awareness of their selection and offer convenience to their customers. And then this is a quote from Andy Jassy here, talking about the partnership with Hyundai. The ease with which customers can buy vehicles online as part of the deal, Hyundai will also include Amazon's Alexa voice assistant in its car starting in 2025. So this is really interesting. And this is something that's always irritated me my whole life. And I don't know how you guys feel, but buying a car is such a pain in the USA. It is such a pain. You feel like you have to sit there all day. And then even after you buy the car, you feel like they're trying to, well, you don't feel like it. They're trying to cheat you on the way out the door, trying to sell you like all this extra add-on and stuff like that. And it's so ludicrous. So it would be nice if we could like streamline this, but I think there's gonna be, or not gonna be, I think a better way to say it, I think there's got to be some sort of lobby that sort of keeps dealerships in business. And that's one thing. So I will say one thing that's pro Tesla. I think they have some sort of different sort of way that they handle auto sales than other manufacturers. And you guys who are Tesla bulls would have more to say about than that. More than say it about than me than that. I'm saying it really poorly. You Tesla bulls will be able to say a lot better than I can. How about that? But one thing I remember when I was thinking about this, it was the Saturn. I remember they used to run commercials, and they had these brilliant commercials of like the roommate would come in and say, hey, who ordered the pizza? And it was like, hey, who ordered the shoes or whatever? And then like the last one would be like, hey, who ordered the new Saturn? And so I wonder if eventually we're gonna be headed to this world. There was a time when you would go to the dealership too, and essentially the longer you stay there, and this is going back to why you go to the dealership, essentially the more discount they'd give you, right? So I learned from a friend who works in the I guess sales world, that like on lower end cars the margin's only like a couple $100, so it's not that much. It's so salespeople don't actually make that like tons of money. However, on the higher end cars the margins can be much higher. So for like something like Hyundai, for the lower end models, and they have lots of different models, maybe the Amazon is the better way to go for a lot of people. But as far as higher end cars, I'm not sure. And I guess from the manufacturer's point of view, if someone's gonna, if I set the price at really high ridiculous rates, and people are just gonna pay no matter what, so be it. I just still would rather have a flat rate for all cars everywhere. That's just my opinion on that stuff. I don't know if anyone disagrees with that. If you really like to, negotiate and stuff like that, let me know. So those are the stories for today, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the initial comment, though, that I think everything is fake. What are your thoughts about that? And this has always been a crazy world, and we're in a mixed market, as I mentioned before, and we'll keep trying to navigate this stuff together. So thanks again for everyone for tuning in, and I'll catch you next video.